All right, my friendly football fanatics. Calm down, y'all. Calm down. It ain't getting too crazy today, but it is getting a little crazy. We do have a double header Monday nighter coming up for you. Starting off first with the Titans taking on the Dolphins in Miami. The 0-3 Titans taking on the 1-2 Dolphins. And to be honest, I can't really tell the teams apart. Both teams are very similar in a lot of ways. Tua, unfortunately, is out with injuries. Their quarterback last week, either of them didn't really show any promise. Pro Bowler, Snoop Huntley is in for this game. We'll see how that comes up. But there are a lot more injuries to go into. Mostert is doubtful for this game. Odell and other wide receivers are out except for damn near just Tyreek and Mr. Water himself. After that, Teron Armstead, their prized left tackle, he's out. Kendall Fuller, he's out. After all of this, Bradley Chubb, I believe he's out as well, I don't know if 3-4 might be their best option going forward. I know they have had their best success with that defense in their past, but in the present time, I just don't think that's possible in a division where the Bills, the Patriots, and the Jets all have moved on to a 4-3 defense, which leads more into question of Chop Robinson's selection in this past draft. Could they have had a better selection? Possibly. Hindsight's 2020. You can't go back and change nothing. But your attitude and a way to win, and that's all you can ask for. For now, a way to win, it should be the running game. But unfortunately, last week H.N. only ran for 11 carries. 3 games so far, only 77 carries for 285 yards, 3.7 yards per carry as a team. That is just not acceptable. They were very dynamic last year. Yes, Tyreek and Waddle speed blazed down the field, but H.N., Mostert, even Jeff Wilson, they were all running the ball, which made them even more dangerous. That's why they put up the 70 points. But I digress. With Snoop Huntley, like we mentioned, Mr. Pro Bowler himself being in for the game, he is mobile as well. Hopefully he brings that running game, the little juice that they need in that side of that matchup, especially with the left tackle being out. You can't just sit back and just pass the ball. I guess you can, but we'll see if that might be their way to go. On the other side, for the Titans, I won't speak on much of them, but like the Bengals, they are 0-3. They do have their head coach, who was the former OC from there. We all have known about this Zach Taylor tree. We'll see how that kind of works out. Let's see if they actually get their win as well. They need to play complementary football. I feel like they've already asked a little too much out of Will Levis. He has showed that he is not more than who he has been, and you can't really ask more of that. Kind of like Justin Fields, just let him be who he is and kind of support him in that role. Hopefully they kind of get around to that. And the front seven, they're really nice. They were, for the most part, still some of the guys are there from the number 1 seed from a few years back. Harold Landry, I believe, is very close to being the Titans' all-time leader since they moved to Tennessee. Unfortunately, Jeffrey Simmons is doubtful for this game, along with several secondary guys. But it will be a very interesting matchup. I do think in this one, Titans get their first win. Dolphins, I think they're in a disarray. I feel like their bottom might be Mike McDaniels gets fired and reinvents himself, just like Kingsbury did in Washington right now, or is doing in Washington right now. But the up is Super Bowl, obviously, so best of luck to them. Unfortunately, this week we are going against you, Dolphins fans. Next one in this doubleheader matchup, Seattle Seahawks going out to Detroit Lions. This is a very interesting matchup in the NFC to, you know, see how the playoff picture might come out to be. 3-0 Seahawks going up against 2-1 Lions. Lions have a very significant piece of that offensive line in Mr. Frank Ragnow, their center, being out for this game. However, with Kevin Zeitler, who I don't get how they just got in free agency, like how does no other team go after him? But it is what it is. He's there, and his experience is going to help out whoever does fill in. If it is Glasnow that moves in back to center, then they're going to have a left guard that's going to probably fill in. You know, you have Taylor Decker, you have Glasnow, you have Zeitler. You take care of them, and you move on. Defensively, Davenport going to IR, that's a very, very concerning thing because they are very light, I believe, in the edges. Hutchinson obviously has a problem, but other than him, who can consistently, give me something? At least Davenport's a first-round pick, and that he was their prize free agent on the outside. But, the bigger problem might be Barnes, because he's also their captain, I do believe, again this season. That's going to be a little something missing, and the defensive end, even if it's 1 or 2 snaps, if it's special teams, whatever he needs to fill in on, he comes out. Another injury to kind of mention really quickly, unfortunately, will be a doubtful watch on Brian Branch, a very, very, very exciting young safety in the league since Alabama, really. If you've been watching him and following him. If not, you should give a little second to go watch some safety tape and go watch some Brian Branch for you. Talk about safety. Let's move to the corner. Rakestraw, I do believe, from Georgia. He might unfortunately be out in this game. Mosley as well, and it will fall you being on IR. A secondary. This might be their biggest test going up against the trio of JSN, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett, who are kind of figuring out what their roles are going to be in this offense. It's slightly new offense as it is a new head coach, and he probably came in with new things, but as well as things that Gino likes and things that the receivers like, because they've all been there for so long. They're all kind of finding their ways. It's a good test for both ends. But the offensive line is finally gelling, in my opinion. However, they always keep on having one guy that ends up going out, and they can't put together like at least even 4 games together to kind of find their feet and get their rhythm as that unit. With Abram Lucas being out again, with Jerome Fant, I do believe, in IR, and Hutchinson. I'm blanking out. I do apologize. Hutchinson preferring to rush from that right side. It is going to be an interesting watch. Gino cannot be, running to the right, because he might have an open lane for Hutchinson or some other linebacker or safety. Anzalone, I do believe, will stand out as well to come down and finish off the tackle or the sack. Defensively for Seattle, it is a very, very hard matchup. They are pretty much out of all their front 7. Murphy's out, Young's out, Leonard Williams out, Owosu's out, Maffe's out, and even Jerome Baker is questionable. So it's going to be hard for them to contain the Lions if they go back to their meat and potato and go back to running the ball. This might be their dominant victory that they've been looking for, as neither team has had that so far. I do believe that Lions have played better teams, but Seattle is 3-0. It is what it is, but we'll see how that goes along. One last little note that I do want to say for Seattle. I question their 3-4 defense, just like I did question it for the Dolphins, as the division's really a 4-3 division. It hasn't really worked out in the division since the Rams kind of tried it out in 2021, but that was like a once-in-a-lifetime where you give Von Miller in that trade. You already have Jalen Ramsey and all those guys. You have Odell everything just matches up. That's, a rarity to ever happen. But hey, who knows? He had a phenomenal defense in, Baltimore. Maybe he brings some of that juice. We'll see what Mike McDonald can bring to Seattle. We gotta see. It is what it is. So far, it's a 3-0 start. We'll see how it progresses. Another note that I do want to give to Seattle would be what Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA has been doing for them, with Kenneth Walker being out since pretty much the first game. 40 carries, 141 yards, almost 3.5 yards per carry. Like I said, the O-line being in and out. He's not the primary back, but still with, limited amount of carries, I do believe too. He did his job. And now Kenneth Walker comes back and he's going to do his job. So we'll see how that kind of goes along with the 1-2 punch with the running backs on both sides for the Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff has been sacked 4 times for this year, or for the season so far. Gino has already doubled that, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. See how Detroit or Seattle handles the line of scrimmage. Probably the winner's probably going to come from there, and with Seattle losing a lot of those guys, I am going to have to roll with the Lions in Detroit at home. MCDC, got to have those boys roaring, especially on a Monday night at prime time. And Detroit's going to show out. Kid Rock, possibly. Eminem, looking out for you. But what will probably happen is a Jared Goff chant. But they need to go back to winning in the trenches and the run game. I'm going to catch y'all next time.